You got to call and talk to him.
Hello and welcome. This is Crossing Bridges Talk Show. I'm your host, Larry Montgomery Sr. This is my co host, William. William, introduce yourself.
Good evening, everyone. I'm William Montgomery. Pleasure to be here.
Good evening, everyone. I'm William Montgomery. Anyway, and this is my daughter, Angela. Angela, introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Angela. Happy to be here.
Now, now your son, is he going to introduce himself or are you just going to stay in the background?
I told him to leave that because I didn't know what the subject was, so he didn't. I was like, we'll call you guys after.
Okay, we can talk about that later.
This
Okay.
is probably going to be a long conversation, like William said.
Okay, I can understand that. I mean, we talk about things on this show about, men talking to men, men talking to young men,
Okay, right.
um, young men talking to old men, that kind of a thing. And there's nothing really, earth shaking, but it's, those kind of conversations that you may or may not have had with, with your adult friends, parents, or whatever, or
Mhm.
that you may be soon facing to have with your young children or cousins or whatever like that there.
Yeah.
Because one thing is, a lot of black people don't like to read a lot. And so we communicate by voice, by speaking, by remembering our history, and by telling it forward. And so, in this day and age, with computers and stuff, we may have gotten away from a lot of that and get distracted easily. So we don't have heart to heart conversations. We don't have to always agree, you know, but we don't need to get cursed out just because I don't agree with your opinion, type of a
Right,
thing.
right, right.
And even in those situations, there's a way to handle things if you are aware of them. You don't have to go through everything. Sometimes you could just listen to what somebody else says and get a clue. Right?
Yep.
So last week we talked with my sister Jeanette. She was on. We were talking about marriage to some extent. And I didn't know if we were going to continue with that this week. And since she's running late, um, let me turn to my co host and ask him if he had a topic that he wanted to bring up today, or we'll just go to Angela and see what she want to talk about.
Oh, I want to defer to my sister. It's ladies first.
He always deflects that way. But then when you hit a topic that he want to talk about, you can't shut him up. But
That's
anyway,
right.
but Angela is in a faraway land called California. I'm not going to say where, but they've got some heat issues out there from time to time. Fire, flame, smoke,
Mhm.
real
Yeah.
estate disappearing and whatever. So, I mean, it's got to be a little nerve wracking to be there, when something go down and man, everybody, running to the fire hose and getting the lawn mower or whatever, and trying to save their property. I would thought that maybe they would have come up with some sort of sprinkler system that around at least the neighborhoods that would kind of help. They got
Okay,
any? Go on.
so I'm like in the city,
Hmm.
so the closest fire I probably have, okay, the Oakland Hills fire back in, I forgot what year, might have been like 10 years ago.
Hmm.
You know, that was a really bad one in the area that I'm in. And also, I'm probably like 20 miles away from wine country, Napa.
Hmm.
Come
Hmm.
out here, we're going to Napa. We're going to take a train ride and we're going to go through there and it's beautiful. But um, the year before when they had the wildfires out that way, well, from where I'm at, I mean, of course, like that the skies were, it was orange and black and in the daytime and ashes and stuff like that, and they shut down the bridges. So the other ones, like in Southern California, and I'm not, I do have some more family down that way, but I don't really uh I don't know what their zones are, but I know like this is like the closest I've ever been to like, the wildfires is like this area here.
Hmm.
The only thing, I mean, and then you got to wear the mask because it was. Oh, I got some pictures from there because even I mean it just covered like the whole like all of Northern California was bad.
Mhm.
Just what was going on, in that valley, that Napa Valley.
Yeah.
Right
Wow.
now, I mean, and how they start, they'll say, it might have been something from the power company, their lines were down or they were old, or there's been some that are very questionable when you see homes that were destroyed, but the home next to it is not burnt down at all, and then there's trees
Wow.
around. So that's kind of
Mhm.
questionable because we don't know if there's been some experiments on, some kind of weapons, that they, trying. I don't know. But when you look at some of that, if you ever get a chance to Google some of that, it's really peculiar. It really is.
Wow. Wow.
Hi, Auntie.
So,
Hi, wow, you said, okay. Hey, I think I got things screwed up here, but I'll figure
but
it out.
but you made it.
I don't know.
You made
Uh,
it. You made it. But
yeah,
you're late.
yeah. So what I'm gonna get? How much I get docked?
The first hour is a zip.
Oh, okay.
It's only an hour
Well,
show.
then I'm straight then. Consider me early.
Well, we have a topic, but I'm not going to really get into it because this is a rare occasion where we have two males and two females, and we've got about let's see, 40, 60, 70. We got about 200 years of knowledge right here in front of us. So we'll
Wow.
just tap in and see what we could come up with that's of interest.
Okay.
We tried to talk about fires, but that's too hot a topic. But let's talk
Yeah.
about men,
Uh-huh.
since this is Crossing Bridges talk show about men talking.
Mm.
What do women think about men talking?
You need to communicate. No, we're not mind readers. Men can talk. You need to say what's on your mind.
Well, the thing that comes up a lot of times is like a man may say about 2,500 words during the course of the day, and a woman is going to hit 5,000 easy.
hmm
So when you're talking to a man, do you prefer to hear them talk or you prefer to have them listen?
Well, you talking to an alpha female, so we both gonna talk. We both gonna engage. But I do love to hear a man that has conversation because you won't capture me mentally if you're not stimulating my mind, and we can, get aboard on, on some real topics.
Okay. Well,
What's the question?
you're not helping.
I mean, the question to me was presented to the ladies because I can only tell you what I think, but we want to get the females' impression of what they want to hear from men or what men need to step up to the plate and do.
Jeanette?
People are very
Uh,
different these days. People are different. I don't think it was a man or woman thing. I think it just folks are very, very different. You know, you got to really pick their brain and see where they're at because they'll show one thing, and once you scratch the surface and you get up in there, and it be all bad. People are very different these days. It's hard to find some individuals where you can really have good conversation with and nothing else behind it, or they can't even hold a conversation. That's what I find in my day and age amongst my
Uh-huh.
peers and especially where I'm at, and here, Dad, there's really no culture. So me coming from, New York is I'm different from a lot of these
Mhm.
people here. Now, yeah, the Panthers have started in Oakland and all that kind of stuff, but they don't have no culture,
Mhm.
and they don't know, like, just the real struggle in the movement of being black.
Mhm.
They just out here playing.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, and I
Okay.
think that they accept a lot of I don't want to say it. They don't even know when they're being played. Like they don't get it. And I don't come from that. So like I said, I don't want to take up too much time on this, but they don't where I'm at. They really don't have that kind of culture. So when men talk to me or try to like you make out or date me, I'm like they really like it could be like she talk like no talk like a intelligent thinking person. Like what do you get it? So that's like I do get it. I was like you can't keep up, and that's fine too. So stay where you at, and I'll move on.
Okay.
Talking to other
Jeanette?
women, talking to other women, be the same thing. I'm sorry.
Okay. You finished?
That's all right. That's not. What was the question again?
What are your observations when it comes down to men talking to you?
Well, my observation is that I hope they can read the signs on my face that it's time to be quiet. You're talking too much. I get it, and I'm at the percentage now that 99% of this stuff is lies. So most of the time, if men talk a lot, it's kind of like a turn off because they're trying to get too much in at one time. So I think silence and to observe, because I'm very observant, and I think if we both become very silent, that avoid arguing, that avoid assaults, that will avoid chokings, that will avoid verbal abuse.
I'll send you a text.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
But communicating is very important, and feeling comfortable in talking. And I think that's one of the things that people have to kind of understand. Whatever you have to say is clearly important to you. It may or may not be important to the person who's sitting there listening to you. But there's a way to be nice about the fact that, you just going on and on and on, and I just tuned out, or please give me more. What you're talking about is very interesting, type of a thing. And, in today's life, things go so fast. I don't know, how people feel about just kind of sitting down and, spending time once a week, if you will, and just chatting, Did I say too much?
No,
No. I just want to, my mind is like, this chat thing, sitting down on the weekend, it could be chatting about how about let's go on a yacht, how about, take the jet, to Hawaii for lunch, if we're going to chat, that's the kind of chat I want to hear. But we just out chatting to be chatting. I could be feeding the pigeons. I could be thinking about other things of that nature, how to get rid of you and things of that.
How to get rid of you? Okay.
We got to turn to the cartoon channel.
Yeah, so hey.
But no, I mean, I listen. I've been married 49 years. Okay, and sitting down, sometimes chatting is very nice. It's very helpful, and it's pleasant because each of us, even though me and my wife are married and have been together all this time, we're still two different people. She sees things differently than I see. She picks up on things that I don't pick up. I mean, she always tells me you don't pick up on social cues. I understand that some stuff just glosses over my head or whatever. But then when you sit down and you start chatting, you pick up on those because the other person will remind you of and enlighten you about some of the things that you may or may not have missed. It's always good to sit back and reminisce every now and then, right?
Yes, yes, it's wonderful. It's wonderful. But I would prefer, as far as chatting, that my husband walk behind me so he could watch my back. In case somebody roll up on me, they get him first, and I can, cuddle on out. So that's
Yeah, I can see how that works out really well.
exactly. And as far as I mean, Joyce is totally one of a kind.
Yeah.
I could imagine seeing there. I probably could chat with her all day long. But she's far from being violent. And knowing me and her chatting, that's like oil and water. So this should come out real well. Chatting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, Will, help me out here, man. Come on, you got to do that Ed McMahon thing there.
Well, I mean, my thing with the male-female communication thing is I find a lot of times females, are under the assumption that men should know how to do certain things or understand them better. And from my understanding, I'm like, I can't understand anything about you unless you tell me. So if you haven't told me how to treat you, if you haven't told me the topics that you find interesting, I don't know this. So if I ask, I don't feel like I should get my head chewed off because I'm asking you what's important to you or how you feel about something, because unless you tell me, I don't know.
Hmm.
And that happens a lot.
Yeah. That's from the male position. Sometimes you have to ask the question of, to kind of get things started here. Unless you're getting chewed out for something you did that you shouldn't have did, because men think differently. Men probably think a little more mechanical, a little more practical, black and white type thinking. And women think in color. Sometimes it's fuzzy color, but it is color. I see Miss Fowler is sending in some messages. She says that she agrees with something that Angela said earlier. I think that's Beneva. And she also sends Jeanette, I don't mind listening to a man speak, but it's also not what you say, is how you are saying it, which is important.
Yes, that is very important. That is very important, because you don't want to be talked at. You want to talk, with, not talk at.
Yeah, people get the wrong impression just by one comma being in the wrong place.
Yeah.
It's like, hi, how are you?
Totally aware of that. Yeah. Especially don't let mine don't put a period on it. That's it. That's it. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Silence.
Silence is compliance.
Well, I want to piggyback off of what William was saying when I don't know how people would expect for you to, you got to communicate. It got to come both ways. You can't just expect for the man to, know everything if you don't tell him what you're interested in, so he can either follow up on it or, I don't know, if you don't know anything about what you're talking about, or, he can engage with you. That's kind of crazy. That I know exactly what you're talking about. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, I totally understand that. Like, and that way you can, because it's called communication. Yeah. Nobody is a mind reader. So that men do think black and white, women is in color. We get it, and that's just how we are programmed. And it works for a reason. God blessed us to be like this for a reason. But at the same time, like I said, I just believe like nobody's a mind reader, so you got to say what you want. You know what I'm saying? And then, either they're gonna get aboard or they're not. Or they can feel your vibe and they're gonna, you can exchange and communicate and keep up conversation. Whether it's in a forum like this, or you talking at dinner, or just just anywhere, dealing with your relationship. You know what I mean? Or just not even, I can't even say the relationship, because this is like, it would be like a dating process or just meeting, just hanging out, because you can't get into no relationship if your communication is not there.
Well, yeah, that's true, but I'm sure all of us have been through that period of life when it's not necessarily about the conversation, it's about what you think is the conversation, and
Right.
it's a learned skill. You learn after trial and error. You meet someone and you want to get to know them, and you're not real comfortable with yourself as to what you're going to talk about. You might start out talking about, well, how's the weather in your land, wherever you live, or do you have the time? Do you know what time it is? Yeah, many different topics come up when it comes down to trying to get a female's attention. So the question is what kind of cues do you give off when you're not interested in talking to the man? Because the next question is going to be, what cues do you give when you are interested in talking to him?
I want to see what Auntie got to say. When you don't want to talk to a man, what you tell him?
Who you talking about, me?
Yes, yeah.
I just turn around and lift up my shirt.
You might like that. You might like that. I like
that. Just turn around, lift up your shirt. What that gonna do? Scam off? Oh.
When you see the handle, you already know.
I like that.
It's time to go. Okay. Now, so when you are interested in the person, maybe they're not talking about what you want to talk about at that second. But if you are interested, what do? How do you let them know that you're interested in? Maybe there's some other topics you want to talk about, or you just want to get to know them?
Well, I probably would ask him, if you don't mind, could he pay for my stuff along with his?
Yeah, that'll work.
That's a topic to start with.
That'll get a conversation going for sure.
Or
I want to know where you're working.
It will stop it immediately. It'll either get it going or to stop it immediately.
Right.
Yeah, but now, okay. Now listen. Now both Jeanette and Angela both have daughters. How did you explain that whole topic of being approached by a man? How do you encourage it, and how do you discourage it? How did you explain that to your daughter?
It's very simple.
And
who's gonna go first?
Get out my face. Me? I'm like, get out my face. Like, I don't want to talk to you. I'm not approachable. Like you know, I'm very you're
breaking up.
You're breaking up. Gonna come talk to me. Oh, no, I was just saying, like, I'm not really approachable type of person. You can't just walk up on me when I'm out and about, especially with my kids. That's you are out of pocket. Like, don't talk. I think you're disrespecting me and you're disrespecting my sons. When I'm out and you try to talk to me, that really pisses me off. You will get cussed out almost. I will cuss you out. Like, what are you doing? Don't you see you're my kids? Like, so don't approach me like that. And if I'm out hanging out with some girls or whatever, and you want to come, talk to me and like, hey, how you doing? My name, I won't even tell them my real name. Not at all. Yeah, and don't take your cell phone out, because that's what they like to do too. They'll put, let me get your number real quick. No. I can't get your number. No. I don't even know your name. You asking me for my number and you don't even know my name. So you already off on a bad start. So bye. That's how it goes. Will. Like, for real.
Yeah. Okay.
They quick to grab their phone. What's your number? You didn't even ask me my name. So no. I'm telling you. They have no finesse,
Oh.
no class. I'm telling you, like, and it's like, you know, who do you, and I get a lot of youngsters in my face, you know, guys that's like in their 30s and stuff in my face.
Mm.
So, you know, I try to tell them I'm not trying to be disrespectful or nothing, but you ain't even got a great chin, so I can't talk to you.
You know, I get your point. I'm just kind of, you know,
Out here, it's hard. It's
painful.
hard. You get all the weirdos. You're like, what are you doing? You taking out your phone for what? You didn't even ask me my name. Like, no, bye.
Maybe maybe want to email you.
Definitely got the email.
Jeanette, you had something you want to say?
Oh, yes. Well, as far as my daughters, you know, being the beautiful young women that they are, successful, you know, I didn't want to put any stipulations on what type of a man that they should, you know, allow to approach them, because many men going to approach them, you know, but I figured that they have the common sense to know, number one, make sure I'm just speaking of me per se, how I do things. If his hair's shaped up nice and I look at his shoes and he got on some bad kicks, okay, we might could start a little somewhere. So if he asks for my number, damn, here I go. Well, my phone broke the other day and I'm having a problem getting another one. So, you know, I would have given you my number, but I just don't have my phone. Now, if he reach in his pocket and say, go get a phone, I would say, well, write your number down on a piece of paper so I can call you when I can.
Oh my goodness.
We must stay in touch.
Well, that's one way to handle it, I'm sure.
That's the only way for me. You know, but
I think that's go on. I'm sorry. Go on.
No, that's all right. Well, for my daughters, they have different type of men, but to say they do have good men. They have good men, you know. As far as, you know, some need a little work done on them, or, you know, a little shine them up like you shine up your shoes or whatever, or if the heel was ran over and needed another lift, you know.
Well,
they together.
Yeah. Oh, okay. That's good advice, I guess. Will, you got a daughter.
Well, I want to piggyback on something that Angela said earlier about, you know, well, and also you mentioned that men see colors, well, see stuff in black and white, and women see stuff in colors. And I think it's a reason why it's that, because we're supposed to complement each other. So I just want to make that statement. As for my daughter, she doesn't date, so I have not had that conversation with her. So
that's because she's young.
That's because she doesn't date. So
how old is she?
She'll be 21 this year.
Oh, okay.
She's gonna start dating.
No.
Smart girl. So let's keep up the good work.
Yes, we will.
Less headaches.
Listen, you know, it's one thing about male and female. Eventually, we all come around to about the same decision, you know, for whatever reason. You know, and Jeanette was interesting when she pointed out, I take a look at his haircut to see what kind of shoes he got on, because he may not have on shoes because he can't afford the shoes. Hair may be busted because he ain't got no money.
If he ain't got on those shoes,
he don't need to be
if a man roll up on me with no shoes on, I'm a considerate, compassionate person. I'm gonna give him a pair of mine and tell him to get the hell on. As simple as that. Because if he had the audacity to roll up on me barefooted, he gonna get what he deserves. A pair of my old flats and a path to get the step in. And matter of fact, I'll put on R. Kelly for him. Step. in the name of love.
Now, really, you got to step back for a second and just think. Now, this guy could have rolled up on you because he had just given his shoes that he wore out, today, to a homeless person who needed some shoes because he know he got shoes. You see, now you done just cut him off, cut him up, and send him on his way.
No.
Yeah, well,
Now
had
that on that note, I'ma say instead of you rolling up on me now, you should have waited till you gotten home and got another pair of them other shoes and wear them back. Matter of fact, put on some sneakers and wear them back and caught up with me. That's what you should have did. Okay? And by you giving the homeless man your shoes, hey, all due respect, but be prepared. Be prepared. You never know when you're going to cross up a homeless person. You never know when you're going to cross paths with a homeless person.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
Exactly. I went upstairs and got homeless people shoes and stuff like that. I told them I have the money, but you need some shoes, and I give you some sneakers. And they had the nerve to turn around. They asked me for a cup of coffee. I said, I just told you I ain't have no money, but I got some shoes for you. Shit. And here's the finale. Here's the people. Oh, I'll give you the shirt off my back. I'll give you the shirt off my back. This is how I roll. I will give you the shirt. If I like the shirt I got on, you can't get this shirt, but I will go get you one. Okay, that's just keeping it real. I won't leave you out here bare, but you can't have this one. I'll go get you one. As simple as that.
Well, hey, shirt is a shirt.
Oh, hell no. The price is the price. Shit. Shit.
Okay.
No.
All right. So now that we figured out how to handle guys who approach you that you're not interested in, whether they got shoes on or not, or whether they got their iPad or their iPhone and they're trying to get your number. What did you tell your daughter about the one that looked like he could make the grade? Did you tell her to ask some follow-up questions? And what were they?
Okay, what mine was, number one, they came out grown. So I figured they'll use their better judgment. Just look at your dad. That right there should tell you any and everything about a man. That's the kind of man you don't want. You want to kill or run as fast as you can. Okay? Get away from him as quick as you can, because he's not the one. Okay,
Now,
right? Yes.
We're trying to keep it, generic, not genetic.
He was.
Just tell us what you would advise, not what you've been through.
I like that. That's a good one. Okay, we're gonna try to keep it generic. Okay. Well,
you think about it. I can answer that. You got something now? Or you're good. You're good, right? You ready?
Yeah. I'm ready. I'm gonna keep this as elegant as I can.
Okay.
Your piece of father should have came whole, but he was piece. He was in pieces. A piece of man. Okay. So you want you a whole man. A whole man. You need a whole man. So you could be whole. Okay, but a piece of man, that means you a piece of a piece too, Both of y'all can't come together in pieces. You have to be whole pieces. Like you're making a sandwich. You got a whole slice of bread on the right and a whole slice of bread on the left. Put them together, you got a whole sandwich. You can't come with a half a piece of bread and a whole slice of bread. Now you got a half of a sandwich and a whole slice of bread on one half, It don't work like that. So I figured common sense would tell them what kind of men, but they did pretty good with their men. They did pretty good with their men. They, due to the circumstance, it was a long Well, but it got there. I can say it got there. You
Okay.
know.
Okay.
Yeah, they did
Um,
pretty good.
Angela, same question.
I always told my daughter to deal with somebody that's like-minded. You know, we attract a lot of people,
Not me.
so it's really, weaving out and having that spirit of discernment, you know, um, you got to really weed out these folks because a lot of people come to us. A lot of men come, they'll come, and I have to tell her because it happens to me. So
Mhm.
I have to warn her. You know what I'm saying? You're attractive. A lot of people are a lot of different uh, types of men. You know what I'm saying? They can be a Mexican, they can be black, they can be Persian. You're gonna get a lot of people that's gonna be attracted. They want your energy, not only that you look, but your light that shines. They're attracted to it. You know what I'm saying? And they all don't mean well. There's a lot of hurt people. And a lot of people come to me because they hurt and they need some healing. So I tell her, and then sometimes you can get caught up with somebody's looks and you're not really looking. You blind by them looks. And I think that was going on with her last relationship. But I told when I first met him, I said I don't like him. I give it a chance. I mean, it's your life, you know what I'm saying? And it winded up not being, okay.
That
Um,
word must runs in your family because your father said the same thing to a girl that
really?
knocked on his door. Yes,
Okay.
on first sight. You know,
Yeah. Yeah. So,
first
I
sight.
don't care. Like I see a spirit on you. I'm like, see, I didn't want to get into this. But if I see something on you that just don't look right, I don't like it. Now, but she blinded by something else, but I already called it when I saw it. So um had to go through the little ringer a little bit, you know what I'm saying? But she's okay now. But the gentleman that she's with now is just he seems so he's just seemed like a blessing. Like he's really, really, kind, and he checks on me. He has conversations with me, and I haven't, like I said, I plan on meeting his people next month. I mean, in September. But he got a lot of positive stuff going on with himself, and he has one child. When he takes very good care of her, for what I see. But I always told her, when it comes to these men, be with like-minded folks. Yes, you're gonna, you got to be on your toes because they are. You got a lot of folks that have some bad stuff in them, and it's like a sheep in wolf clothing. You know what I mean? So, you got to be very careful when you entertain folks because you may not know what you're really entertaining. So that's why, as you walk, I told her as you walk, you be aware of your surroundings and who's coming at you, who's coming around you. She's had relationships that she had a boyfriend before her son's father, and I didn't like that boy either. I didn't like him. He always kept trying to, I don't know. I didn't like him. And that wound up being bad too for, just a lot of little stuff. Everybody got to go through their little puppy love stages and all that kind of stuff. But she hard-headed. She wanna do what she wanna do. So, sometimes I try to make it easier for her, but you say what I say or you're not, you know. But you know.
Okay, you
So,
broke up a little bit on the end there.
oh no, I just said at the end of the day, she, always coming back to me and her father.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
she's 2 times, the third reads the charm, and that's what it looks like.
Well, you have to be careful, obviously, because everybody isn't necessarily as straightforward as you might like them to be. Jeanette mentioned earlier that there was one situation where my oldest son, Larry, girl that he was liking or whatever came to the house, and I opened the door. I don't know what it was about her, but I tell you, I didn't like her when I first laid eyes on her. Period. There was nothing she could do, nothing she could say, because that dislike was fixed in my head at that moment in time. And that's really, I tell you the truth, That's the only person I've ever met that I didn't like when I first laid eyes on them. You know,
Mm.
now there's people that I've met that, they look, all right, something like that. There, matter of fact, me and Will did a show a couple of months ago, with a gentleman. Came across very nice, very intelligent, and then after the show, it was like this guy just went Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde type of a thing. I
Wow.
said, Dag, I mean, did I do something to you to piss you off or something like that there? But no, that was just how the person was. What can you say?
Mhm.
You don't know until I got to probe. I got to ask another question. I got to watch you for a moment
Yep.
before I even understand if you are who you say you are.
Yep.
And so this would be the advice I would give any young man, any young woman. Listen, look before you hook. Get to know what you're dealing with before you start to say, all right, I'm going to deal with you. Because some of these people out here, they got issues.
Yep.
You got those that like to control people. You got
Yep.
those who got 4 or 5 different lives that they live in at the same time. So you don't know if they're keeping that
Yep.
lie straight that they
Yep.
talking to you about. And there's no police force out there to say, look, this one's a criminal, this one ain't a criminal, this one is cheap, this one, you got to figure that out on your own. And sometimes you need to have an unbiased eye look
Yep.
at that person before
Yep.
you really start to let your heart out. Once you let your heart out there, you got to pull it back sometimes and say, hey, this one didn't work out. Now I've wasted my time and my heart is broken. And, why did I make that mistake? Well, sometimes you get set up, okay, but then other times you weren't on your game. My game is to be careful. I got to know, before I hook up, this going to be real or this going to be fake? This going to be part-time? This going to be full-time? What is it going to be? And if I'm not interested in that kind of a situation, hey, like Jeanette said, listen, you got to go get the shoes first, man, before you roll up on me.
Exactly.
So I got something I want to say real quick.
Yeah.
So like I said, like that discernment and really watching folks, just you hang out, you date or whatever. I've noticed that a lot of people like to rush into these relationships, which I really call them situationships. You get yourself in these situations because you have not taken the time to learn somebody,
Mhm.
and I honestly believe when they say it takes all 4 seasons, then you got a little bit of grounding. You know what I'm saying? Because I may know you just in this setting, where you're with your family, and then when you're with your friends, you're something different. Or when it's bad, how do you react to stress, pressure?
Mhm.
Does money make you? You know what I'm saying? Or are you going to lose your mind because you don't have no money? Or
Mhm.
you have addictions. You know what I'm saying? Like you really got to
Mhm.
watch folks. And I
Mhm.
noticed that people don't take the time to learn somebody.
Mhm.
Just because I converse with you, I may hang out with you, they went on a couple of dates, don't mean that you know me.
That's true.
Because I don't, you don't get to see, your dad gonna sure don't get to, come to my home or meet my kids or anything. That's gonna take like 2 whole years.
Mhm.
You may see it on Facebook or something, if I have you as a friend, if like that. But I'm being real honest. Like I'm a social person, but I'm very private, and I've seen like what a lot of my associates that they're like real open, like they don't mind having somebody come pick them up or sit at their house around their children or their family, and you ain't never get to meet his people. It's like, don't you think there's something wrong with that? Like, stop bringing people to your home. Like you're really comfortable with this stranger because you don't know
Listen, I don't invite nobody to my house who I haven't been to their house first.
him.
Period.
Hmm.
I know how I live. And if I come over to your house and see how you live, once I see how you live, I know you. I know how you are.
Right?
You're
I don't
nasty.
invite people. I
You're
don't
broke.
invite people to my house. Number one, I don't like them to use my bathroom. My bathroom is only for family members. So
Um,
my friends, they already know that they can't come to my house because they're gonna say, Jeanette, you're not gonna let me use the bathroom. I'm saying, see, now you're following procedures because I'm not gonna switch that up. You're not gonna use the bathroom. And
Oh yeah, yeah.
as far as a man, I don't need him coming to my house unless he's coming to drop off an envelope with some money. You know, I'll meet him someplace else or whatever, you know, because
Right.
I don't want you touching this, moving that, sitting over here, picking up that, what's this, don't touch that, put that down, this and that. He's gonna say, I'm out. You crazy as hell. I'm out. I like that kind of shit. You can be out, but you leave that envelope right where it's laying at. Okay, simple as that. So I
well, you
don't
know,
mind. I don't mind it.
there's one thing about that rule of you can't come to my house until I go to your house. Is that I know you live somewhere because I've been to your house. Okay. Some people be just homeless and you would never know that they're homeless,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. Mhm.
And they homeless for a reason. I'm not trying to get down on people down on their luck. That's not my point. My point
Right.
is that sometimes people are available for a reason. And that's question number 2. You know, why you free? Why you ain't married? Who you going with? You know, you got a wife, you got children. What you got going on here? You ain't just all of a sudden
I got one. I got a
available.
good one for you.
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh. So
You froze.
I
You froze. Okay.
Rose, I don't know what to do.
Now-
Shaheen.
Now you're good. Okay.
Oh, okay. So I had a conversation with this gentleman. Never mind, Shaheen. I had a conversation with him. We actually went to go eat or whatever. And during our conversation, you know, he was like, you know, brought up marriage or whatever, which is different. You know,
Kind of early.
you know me, I'm not, you know, I got my things about that, you know, but I'm not against it at all. But, you know, he seemed like he had his little, you know, his stuff together. You know, he works for the state too, and you know, has a nice little, you know, apartment or whatever. We got some to go food, and we sat over at his place and had dinner and watched a little show. And then we sitting there and see, I'm not saying I'm funny, but like when I see something that I just something like that to turn me off instantly, I'm sitting there, we watching this show, and he's picking out his head, and I'm like, you don't have your bald head, you ain't got no hair. So what is you pulling or picking at? It was weird to me. So I was like, I gotta go. That was it for me. Blocked his number and everything. I was like, you know, that's weird. Like, what are you doing? Like, you nervous or, you know, that was just weird. You just sitting there picking at your bald head.
Maybe you have fleas.
But I know that, you know, he had it all together, a nice little car. His place was fully furnished and very well, you know, put together and everything. But I was like, what's wrong with, you know, what is wrong with you? You over here picking
Well, you know, some
bald head.
people have
What
a
the heck?
nervous itch or a nervous twitch. You should have just asked them. You know, what's up with the deal here? You know, he might have a question he wanted to ask you, trying to figure it out.
You got a secret passage in your head or something like that? You trying to get something out or something? You know,
Yeah, I was
shit.
like, what the
Tell
heck?
me.
Like, that's weird to me. That's weird. And if you got
I'm trying to get an idea out.
you need to go
Yeah.
get you some edibles or something to relax you, something, because that was just totally weird. I'm like, you just sitting here picking at your bald head, like, ugh. So that right there was enough.
That's
Yeah,
nothing.
but-
Lately, excuse me for cutting you. Lately, I had guys roll up on me in the electric wheelchair thing. So this guy, I'm walking. So you know he's a little fast, and the thing rolls up or whatever. So he said, "Oh, you going to stuff?" I said, "Yeah, I'm walking a quick trip." "Oh, I'm going to Checkers. Why don't you come and eat with me?" I said, "Well, sure. Why not? I've never been invited out to Checkers before. You know, let me see what Checkers is about. You know, I love the French fries. You know, so." Then he realizes his motor is going the low, so he had to turn back and go back. So I had to wind him going to Checkers to pick up his stuff and mine too. It was definitely mine too, and bring him back his stuff. And he had the nerve to ask me for change. I said, your scooter really got you messed up. I don't give change. Okay.
Right? I'm keeping all the change.
You
Got me doing
change your
extra
mind.
work.
Yeah.
I'm doing the service.
Yeah. You done invited me out to Checkers, and I done messed around and accepted the invitation. And you want to talk about change? You better change up your attitude and don't roll up on me like that again. Yeah.
Now,
Mm.
I've been to
Oh my
Checkers.
goodness.
Make sure you have a double Caesar school the next time so I can sit down and you pull me around. Shit.
Oh my goodness. You are hilarious, Rocky. I swear, you're hilarious. You need your own little talk show. The Tea with Jeanette.
I've been to Checkers once or twice. I never knew it was a place for a hot date.
All right, me neither. I was so stunned. I was like, "Oh God, me of all people, I'm honored. I'm so flattered. I'm honored." Shit. I said, well, I've never been invited out to Checkers before. What the hell, you know?
Now, I can see you going to who's that place, Red Lobster or something. You know, like sure, Checkers. You get 2 for $1 hot dogs.
12 for $5. You know?
Okay, listen, we have come up on the end of the hour, so we're short because I put commercials in it when I put it up. So I want to thank everybody for coming and for participating, and I want to invite you to hang on after we cut the show off so we can chat a little more. I know Will has something he wants to talk to Yasmin, your son.
Raheem. You have to write this down. You have to write their names down.
It don't matter if I write it down. I'll lose the paper. I forget where I put the paper. I'm awful with it. I'm telling you, I'm just awful. But anyway, let me say good night. Thank you. And God bless. And we'll see you next week. God willing, if the creek don't rise. Will?
All right now.
God bless you all, and thank you for watching.
God bless each and every one of y'all.
Okay.
Love you all.
Bye.
Love you too. Love you too.